Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to unlock what I honestly consider the ultimate cheat code to the English language. So, if you're looking to radically upgrade your academic vocabulary, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're focusing exclusively on Lesson 18, word families and affixes. Get ready because this is going to completely change the way you look at words.
Let's just be honest for a second here. Are you totally tired of memorizing endless vocabulary lists? I mean, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of words you need to learn for your studies or your job, trust me, you are definitely not alone. The traditional way of memorizing individual words one by one, it's basically like slow addition. It takes forever, and honestly, it's just exhausting. But today, we're going to use multiplication. We're going to figure out how to rapidly expand your vocabulary simply by recognizing root words and using them as your foundation.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the vocabulary multiplier hack. Then we'll meet the word family. After that, we'll look at how suffixes shape word classes and how prefixes shift the meaning. And finally, we'll wrap up with some really effective strategies for rapid growth. Let's get into it.
All right, starting with Section 1, the vocabulary multiplier hack.
Moving on to Section 2, meet the word family. To really master this multiplier effect, we first need a bit of a paradigm shift. We have to stop looking at academic words in total isolation, and instead start seeing them as modular building blocks. Think of Legos, right? The core unit of our whole strategy here is the word family. And a word family is just a group of words that share a common base. For example, from the base verb predict, we instantly get the noun prediction and the adjective predictable. See what's happening? You aren't learning three totally separate concepts. You're actually just learning one concept and three different ways to use it. This really perfectly illustrates the math behind our little hack. By learning just the single root concept of theory, which is our noun, you automatically multiply your vocabulary into 4 distinct grammatical forms. Boom, you instantly gain the verb theorize, the adjective theoretical, and the adverb theoretically. Once you start recognizing these patterns, you are literally multiplying your vocabulary with almost zero extra effort. It's pretty amazing. Okay, up next is Section 3, suffixes, shaping word classes. Now it's time to meet the grammatical shapeshifters that actually perform these transformations, suffixes. Honestly, what's so incredible about this is just how mathematical and predictable the whole process really is. Suffixes are just letters added to the end of a word, and by adding these specific endings, you get to completely control that word's grammatical class. For instance, take a verb like involve. Add ment to the end, and it magically becomes the noun involvement. Or, you can turn the word finance into the adjective financial just by using ile. Getting familiar with these common suffixes like thion for nouns or ly for adverbs, it's honestly like having the ultimate decoder ring for your academic reading. And it gets better, because you can actually stack these suffixes right on top of each other to build highly complex academic concepts. Let's trace one. We start with a pretty simple noun, industry. Then we add the adjective suffix al to get industrial. From there, we tack on the verb suffix "ize" to get industrialize. And finally, we add the noun suffix "tation" to arrive at the super complex academic word industrialization. That is 4 completely different words with 4 different grammatical uses, all springing from one single base word just by stacking suffixes. How cool is that?
Now, you might be wondering, why does all this grammatical shape-shifting actually matter in the real world? Well, let's compare 2 sentences. In the first example, we use the active verb. Fulcher and Scott describe the development. But in the second one, we shift to the noun form. Fulcher and Scott offer a description of the development. Just shifting from that active verb to the noun completely transforms your entire sentence structure. And that gives you the ultimate flexibility to avoid repetition, beautifully paraphrase your sources, and express your exact ideas with total precision. It's a real game changer for your writing.
This brings us to Section 4, prefixes, shifting the meaning.
So while suffixes are busy changing a word's grammar at the tail end, prefixes attach right to the front. You can think of prefixes as our meaning makers. Instead of messing with the grammar, they fundamentally shift the actual meaning of the word itself. For example, just by adding un or dis to the front, you create an instant opposite. Take the word involved, slap an un on there, and you have uninvolved. Boom, you instantly know the meaning. We also have prefixes for time and sequence, like re, which means again, or ex, which means former. And then there are these great prefixes that inject entirely new, highly specific meanings onto a base word. Think of bio for life, mono for one, or inter for between. So if you come across a word like interact, you immediately know it has something to do with an action happening between things, all because of that inter prefix. It just clicks.
And finally, let's head into Section 5, Strategies for Rapid Growth.
All right, so we know the mechanics now, roots, suffixes, and prefixes. But how do we actually turn this linguistic theory into daily rapid vocabulary expansion? Well, the absolutely crucial point here is active application. You can't just passively read words and expect them to stick in your brain. You've got to actively build out comprehensive word cards. So when you learn a new word, go ahead and write down its noun, verb, and adjective forms right there on the same card. Also, don't be afraid to annotate your dictionary. Literally write in it to make it your own. Try hunting down these new words in Google Scholar too, just to see how real academics are using them out in the wild, in context. And when you're taking notes, try reorganizing your vocabulary by word class or by topic, rather than just keeping a boring alphabetical list. Oh, and hey, if you're a multilingual learner, make sure to write down the translation right next to the English word so your brain fully maps the concept.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If just one single root word has the power to unlock 4, 5, or even 6 new words, how quickly is your vocabulary going to multiply by tomorrow? Seriously, it's time to stop adding to your workload by memorizing endless lists and start multiplying your vocabulary by actually understanding the system. The tools are totally in your hands now. So what root word are you going to decode first? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And as always, happy learning.